Hi guys, nice to meet you. Do you guys know what bibliographies are? What are your thoughts on that? Anybody? Yep. So that's a biography. We're talking about a bibliography. When you write a paper, you have to put a bibliography at the end of it, over there. Yep, exactly.
How do you guys feel about creating them? Yep.
They're very important to show that the ideas or the things that you bring about are not from yourself, but you've taken them from other people.
Exactly. Yep. And do you guys like creating bibliographies? What are your feelings around that? Yep.
They're very tedious and hard.
Exactly. So when we were about your age in high school, we thought bibliographies were a very tricky process, and we thought there was a very much better way to go about creating them. So we thought, hey, why don't we use our computer knowledge to create a website to help students create bibliographies. So we were friends back in high school, and we created a website called easybib.com where you enter in bibliographic data, and the bibliography is created for you. But before that, both Darshan and I had an entrepreneurial bug. In high school, we both tried doing these little things where we could possibly make a business. I know one time in our high school, the air conditioning system broke, so I bought a bunch of those mini fans, and I tried selling them to fellow students for $2 more. I ended up making $5 in the whole process, but I saw an opportunity, I tried capitalizing it. And I know Darshan tried starting a couple businesses in high school.
Yeah, actually, when I was your age, I went to a summer camp in Illinois, and while I was there, I learned some pretty basic HTML coding. And HTML is a language that is there. It's essentially the building blocks of web pages on the internet. So I learned how to do that, and then my freshman year in high school, I decided, I want to try out my skills, and so a friend of mine and I started a gadget blog. So we would cover a number of electronics, and we'd write about them. The problem is we never actually had the electronics because we were kids, and we never could convince the companies to send us stuff. But we wrote these blog posts, and we eventually, that kind of slowed down as we realized it might not be a great idea to start that as teenagers.
So this brings us to our first lesson, which is an idea that solves a basic problem is an opportunity to create a business. And for us in high school, that, oddly enough, was a bibliography. But today, we have created easybib.com, and it's a website used by over 22 million students.
So one of the things that we did, and this is the first version of EasyBib, and so when Neal and I were in high school, we each had a large paper to write. And just like you guys, we went to that bibliography and we thought, this is really tedious to create. So let's make a web page. And Neal and I were taking computer science classes in school, and we thought this is a great way to apply some of our burgeoning knowledge in that. So this came out in 2001, and we realized that we're now 9 years later looking at the site.
So, of course, when you're going to build a website, you have to get the word out. How do people know you built this website that could help other students? And in 2001, we didn't have necessarily the same communication means that we had today, but things were developing back then, and we really wanted to get the word out and tell fellow students that, hey, we built this software and it can really help you. So we did a bunch of things. First of all, AOL was big back then, so we'd go into AOL chat rooms about education and homework help, and we'd say, hey, why don't you check out this website called EasyBib? It can help you with your paper. Sometimes we would even go into these websites saying that we were teachers.
Speak up.
Speak up? Oh, saying that we were teachers, and we were recommending the site. A lot of other things that we did included finding teacher email addresses, emailing them about the service, and explaining them about EasyBib. In fact, one time, we kept on doing it so much that one teacher thought we were sending them a computer virus. They contacted our high school because we said we were students at this high school, and we got called into the principal's office to talk about it. It was a bit innocuous, but either way, we were doing our best to get the word out. One time, we contacted the business editor at the Chicago Tribune, and we said, hey, we're students building a service to help other students out. And before we knew it, they decided to write an article about us in the front page of the business section of the Chicago Tribune. It gave us great publicity, and it really created a lot of momentum. And we were high school students, and all we were trying to do was knock on doors and get the word out as much as possible. And soon we gained momentum, and EasyBib started getting a lot of publicity.
And so the moral of that story is, when you start something, you might not have a huge budget to market. And, in our case, we were high school students. So we did all the little things that we could do as high school students. We went to chat rooms, we emailed teachers that we could find, whose email addresses we could find online. We really did whatever it took to get the word out. And so when we launched EasyBib, we went through multiple iterations. We started EasyBib at the end of high school. So we both went to college. And so, you have a lot less time to work on your own personal projects when you have school. So what we would do is, during breaks, or during summer break, for instance, we would set our internships and set them up together. And what we did is, during each one of those breaks, we would add more to the site, add more features, check out what people using the site were telling us, and we would update and add those features and expand the service. And so what we realized, though, is each year, the site would grow larger. And so we thought, the reason why this is happening is because this fundamentally is a good problem that we're solving. Because we knew that bibliographies were tedious, so we knew our fellow students would also find that thing a problem.
So this is our lesson 3, quality product often sells yourself. If something is really good and you put a lot of passion behind it, other people will naturally like it. And when that happens, you'll have a lot of success.
Now, what we thought about doing as we would expand our service is, can we add more features? Now that the site was growing larger, we thought maybe we could make some money out of it. So we thought up 2 services that we tried to add to EasyBib. The first we called MyBib Pro, and that was a premium service that we gave people more features, and we charged for that. Another thing that we decided to do is say, why don't we do the same thing but for schools? Let's sell a service to schools. Now, one thing we didn't realize was just how difficult selling to schools was, and even having the customer support for it. I remember there were times in college where I would be sitting in class, and I'd get a phone call, and I would pick it up really softly, and it would be a teacher asking a question about something, and I'm like, I can't really take this because I'm in school too. So, as we built more and more versions, what we realized, actually, I really skip this one, that sometimes as you're building, if you don't support the product, it might not succeed. And so what we decided to do at that point was we said, we can't really service the school market as college students. Let's wait. And actually just last year we brought that service out again.
So this is EasyBib in 2006, and as you see, as time went on, we created more and more versions of EasyBib. After we graduated college, both of us moved to New York City to take on corporate jobs. But EasyBib continued to grow, like we were saying in the other lesson. If it's a good product, people are going to use it. So after a while, we said, hey, we have something really good going on. Let's see what happens when we dedicate ourselves full-time to it. So today, Darshan and I run EasyBib as a full-time job. We have a team of 14 now, and we continue to grow the product. Like we said before, there's 22 million users. And this is something that we started when we were your age. We had no idea where it was going to take us, but we knew there was something there that we could build on.
And so after college, before taking EasyBib full-time, we talked to our parents, and they each said, do something real before you get into a startup. And so we decided to join, corporations. And I was at a consulting firm for a little bit. Neal worked at Lehman Brothers. And any of you guys are familiar with some of the stuff that's happened over the last couple of years with the economy. He ended up leaving before that, ended up crashing. So I personally think Neal brought down the system. And then after leaving Bain, I actually helped a friend of mine start a website called Drop.io, which I left after about 7 months.
Yeah, an interesting note about Drop.io is that it recently sold to Facebook, and Darshan was one of the founding partners of it. And I'm sure you could say that a lot of experiences you had finding it easy to help you start drop that idea as well.
Definitely. So just all the experiences that you're working towards end up building on each other. And so if you're doing something and you want to do something else, you should make sure to take the lessons from what you're doing, today and apply them to the things you're doing tomorrow. Which is less than fun.
Yeah, there's every experience you have, there's definitely lessons to take from it. While we did these corporate jobs, there are definitely moments that we didn't like from it, but we can definitely tell you today we're running a business where we've taken what we learned from those corporate jobs to apply to our everyday business operations. So think of everything you do as an opportunity to learn and to build upon yourself going forward.
And we see that today, as we're growing, we get about 22 million students a year using our service. On any given day, over 750,000 citations are being put into our system, so that's a lot of people citing bibliographies. And we've collected over 300 million different citations in our system.
A final lesson, it doesn't matter how young you are to be an entrepreneur. Be hungry, be proactive. If you have an idea, jump on it. You're students right now, you have a lot of free time, and there's so much opportunity for you guys.